So you come across me or you come across my business partner, Connor Gillivan. Maybe you came across Free Up and now Outsource School, and you're kind of wondering, how did it all come together? How did Connor and I meet? What businesses have I ran in the past? And why am I always talking about virtual assistants? Why am I even qualified to teach about virtual assistants? So since if you're going to take any of our courses on Outsource School, we're going to be your teachers, I wanted to take this video to explain our past, our background. And really, if you take a gigantic step back, my parents were both teachers growing up. I grew up with the mentality that I was going to go to school, get a real job, work for 30 years and retire. And that's actually what they did. I mean, they're retired now. They traveled the world. They did a great job saving up, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I learned at a very young age that that's not what I wanted to do. Now, I lived in East Longmeadow. I went to school in the town of Longmeadow, which was right next door. My dad was a teacher at Longmeadow High School, which had a better school system, so I was able to go there. Now, we were definitely not poor, but we were middle class, and all the kids at Longmeadow High School or Longmeadow school systems, their parents were doctors, lawyers, dentists, business owners, and they had private yachts, some of them had private jets. They had large houses. They had every video game you could imagine. So growing up, I always wanted a little bit more, and it was never more evident than when I would work 40, 50 hours a week every summer, every winter vacation. My parents always used to make me get these summer jobs. And I worked at Aaron's Corporation, which is kind of like a rent-a-center. I worked at Firestone. I even worked at a meat packing facility, a meat store right by us. And I was a vegetarian at the time. So I had a lot of different jobs, but I learned a lot about business, about sales, about marketing, about customer service inside working every day while all my friends were outside enjoying the summer, enjoying vacation. And I also kind of learned that I hated working for other people. I hated authority. I hated having a boss. I hated watching the clock every day. And I got a glimpse into what life was like after college, and I wanted no part of it. So when I got to college and I went to Quinnipiac University in Connecticut, I grew up in Massachusetts, I started hustling. I took that few $1,000s that I had saved up over my summers, and I started buying and selling people's textbooks. I noticed the school bookstore was ripping people off, offering people pennies on the dollar. They still are to this day. And I said, you know what? I can offer people more money. I can still have plenty of room to make a profit, and it would be a win for everyone. So I started advertising my services. I created a little referral program. People started to tell other people. And before I knew it, I had lines out the door of people trying to sell me their textbooks, to the point where I actually got a cease and desist letter from my college telling me to knock it off. So that was my first glimpse into being an entrepreneur. And I mentioned my parents were both teachers. I didn't want to get kicked out of college. So I pivoted. And this was in 2008, 2009. I sold some books on some different bookstore websites, some different online distributors, and one of those was Amazon. No one really knew what Amazon was at the time. There were no courses, no gurus. No one really knew that being an Amazon seller was even a thing. So I got in at a good time, and I thought it was so cool. I could have this 24/7 storefront that would automatically put money in my bank account, and I could ship products and just the whole 24/7 e-commerce. This was all new. It was all exciting. And I just had to figure out what to sell besides these books. So I started experimenting with stuff I was familiar with. Sporting equipment, video games, computers, and I just failed over and over and over. And I'd also kind of come up with this idea of drop shipping years before I even knew it was called drop shipping. The concept that, hey, I'm a college kid. I don't have much money to buy inventory. I don't have a place to store this inventory. What if I build relationships with manufacturers that they don't really know what Amazon is yet either? They'll ship the product to my consumer. They can keep my credit card on file. They'll charge me anytime that I send an order to them. They focus on what they're good at, which is making the product and shipping it. I focus on what I'm good at, which is getting Amazon sales and customer service. And it's a win-win for everyone. And I get to make the difference between what I sold it for and what I bought it from. So I'm doing drop shipping. I'm trying this new concept that I don't even know what it's called yet, and I'm failing. And one day I came across a deal on baby products, and I list these products on Amazon, and they sell and they sell. And I think to myself, and these people start returning the products, I'm not in good shape. I don't have money to issue all these returns. The manufacturers probably aren't going to take them back. Like, this needs to work. And Luckily, those initial customers never returned anything, and I found this niche that I could sell products in. So this business explodes. I'm drop shipping hundreds and eventually thousands, and within the first year, I do $1 million in sales on Amazon, which is pretty crazy as a 20-year-old. So I'm making legit money, and my parents say I should probably pay taxes. So I meet with an accountant. And the first thing he asked me is, when are you going to hire your first person? And I kind of shrug him off. Like, why would I do that? That's money out of my pocket. They're going to steal my ideas. They're going to hurt my business. They're not going to do as good job as I am. Pretty standard entrepreneurial excuses that a lot of people have when they're hiring. And this accountant, who's no longer my accountant, just laughed in my face. And he said, you're going to learn this lesson on your own. Well, sure enough, my first busy season comes around. The fourth quarter, I'm not prepared. People are buying tons of baby products, tons of toys, and I just get destroyed. I'm filling every order. I'm responding to every customer service email. I'm listing every product. I'm repricing every product. It's just me doing everything. And my social life plummets. My grades go down. I'm working 20 hours a day just to keep this business alive that I cared so much about, that I put so much time and energy into. And I eventually make it to the other side. I make it to past Christmas into January. And I think to myself, man, I can never let that happen again. I need to start hiring people. So I'm 20. What do I know about hiring people? I post a job on Facebook. And this guy in my business law class that I barely knew responds to the Facebook post and says, hey, I don't know what you do. I need a job. I say, you're hired. Didn't even interview him. Turns out that on his first day of work, he didn't even have a car. So he calls me and he says, oh, by the way, can you pick me up? So here's this guy I don't even know. I drive to pick him up. I bring him. I train him. He's doing the most boring work. He was doing QuickBooks, where we just had stacks and stacks of credit card statements. And this was before you could just upload them to QuickBooks, and I didn't know anything about really bookkeeping in general or running a business. And we would just stand there for hours and he would input stuff and I would read it off. So he was doing really boring work, but we built a relationship, and he was hardworking and he was smart. And we realized we had the same core values, the same beliefs, the same long-term visions of wanting to be entrepreneurs. And we had very opposite skill sets. He was better at content and writing and planning and a lot of stuff that wasn't my strength and at the time, and some of it isn't even my strength today. And yes, you guessed it, that's my business partner, Gillivan, who I've been working with now for 10 plus years. So I got really lucky with my first hire. So there I am as this 20-year-old entrepreneur thinking that I know everything and hiring so easy. All you do is post a job and someone shows up, you hire them, your life becomes easier, you make more money, and hiring's that easy. And obviously it's not, and I proceed to make bad hire after bad hire after bad hire, quickly learning that college kids are very unreliable. They have other priorities besides working for my business. And no one in the real world, maybe someone older, wanted to work for a 20-year-old college entrepreneur, Amazon seller, when people didn't even know what Amazon was. So I really struggled hiring for years, finding people that were committed. I really only could go to the college kids around me. And that's what the business ran on for a while. And I ended up graduating, moving to Stamford, Connecticut for a year. We added a business partner, and we made our way down to Florida because I didn't love living in Stamford. The business partner was getting his MBA at Rollins, and we moved there. We actually opened up an office, and we paid to relocate some of these people. So we're hiring people in person. We're kind of this combo of college kids for easy tasks, where now people actually respect us a little bit, so we can hire people in person. But having the office ended up being one of the worst business decisions I ever made. I added overhead to a business that didn't really need it. And throughout this process, I kind of heard of the Upworks and the Fivers. And once we decided to really get rid of the office and that the remote life was more of the lifestyle we wanted in business, and along that time, I'd used those places a lot. And I really just hated posting a job, getting 50 people to apply, interviewing them one by one. It just took forever. And even if I found someone I liked, if they quit on me, I had to start that process all over again. So throughout this process of me graduating and living in Stanford and moving to Florida and trying remote and in person and in the office, I kept looking and looking for something faster, something better, some marketplace out there that was exactly what I wanted, where I could just submit a request, get someone that was already vetted, and have some kind of protection on the back end in case things didn't go well. And So meanwhile, this Amazon business we're doubling every year. We ended up selling over $25 million total, but we got to over $5-6 million a year, and we think we're going to take over the world. Well, this Amazon business or the Amazon industry gets more crowded. The courses, the gurus come out. Everyone's trying to become an Amazon seller, and Amazon makes it harder and harder to drop ship. We didn't have our own brand. We also weren't very passionate about baby products back then. I'm still not passionate about baby products now. So we still had a business. We were maybe doing a few $1,000,000 a year. We'd go up a little one year, down a little another year. We weren't doubling every year, and we weren't selling products that we were passionate about. So we came up with the idea of what if we had this pool of reliable freelancers that we really like, graphic designers, customer service reps, stuff like that. What if we created that marketplace that we were really looking for, the marketplace that we wish the other marketplaces were, where we would pre-vet people, we would make introductions quickly, and people could get started right away on their projects, on their work, where we would have 24/7 support in case anything went wrong, and a no turnover guarantee, where if someone quit, we would cover replacement costs and get them a new person right away. So Hirsch Industries was the name of the book business in my first few years on Amazon. Portlight was what it became when I moved to Florida, and we started off on this other business called FreeUp, and pretty much a marketplace for pre-vetted virtual assistants and freelancers. And we reached out to people in the Amazon community because that was a good place to start. And people really loved the idea. They loved that they could reach out to us. We'd introduce a graphic designer quickly, and that person could get started right away, and we would have their back at all times. And we invested $5,000 into FreeUp, building the most minimum viable product. I mean, this software was bad. All clients could do was log into their account, they couldn't even submit a request. They could see the freelancer in their account. We'd have to manually add them. Freelancers could start time, end time, and that was it. That's all the software did. Every Thursday, we'd have to manually charge everyone's credit cards and look up what it was in the software. The affiliate program was all manual. There was no ticketing system. We didn't add that till later, so people would email me and call me their requests, and that was what we launched with. Well, FreeUp blew up, and it quickly surpassed our Amazon sales. And we eventually invested more time into our software. We ran out of freelancers in our Rolodex, and we had to start recruiting and building it up. And it became an easy decision at the time to stop selling stop working on the Amazon business, selling products that we weren't passionate about in a business that we weren't growing a brand, and we were only dependent on Amazon, and shift our focus on FreeUp, where we had our own brand, we had our own website, we could learn about marketing and see how far we could push this thing and compete with the other marketplaces out there, and really help virtual assistants and freelancers who we had built a lot of great relationships with, we had really liked, and we had spent 5+ years making this really good hiring process, this vetting process. So we took that over from the Amazon business and built FreeUp. And we ended up growing FreeUp from $1 million to $5 million to $9 million to eventually $12 million, and a lot of awesome things along the way. We started to look at ourselves as a software company. We invested in quality assurance people and more developers to build out the software to what it is today. We obviously improved the vetting, and we built a team of 35 full-time virtual assistants. We had no US employees. We didn't even think about getting an office out of that after that last experience. And this business grew, and we loved it, and we were excited. And this is going into 2019, where we did about $12 million in sales a year. We weren't thinking about selling FreeUp. As an entrepreneur, there's only so many ways that you exit a business, right? You either go out of business, you run it forever, you get funding or investment, which I personally don't want to do because I don't like working for other people, or you sell it. So realistically, it was on the table, but that wasn't our main focus. We weren't going to invest a lot of time into it. And one of our clients reached out to us, the Hoth, and they said, hey, we love FreeUp. We've been a customer of FreeUp. We want to get into the freelance marketplace space. We don't want to build a marketplace from the beginning. So we want to talk to you about acquiring FreeUp. And at the time, we didn't know what to think. We gave them some information. They came back with an offer that we thought was fair, if not aggressive. And then the due diligence began. And they spent a lot of time doing due diligence on us, our team, our numbers, and we did just as much on them. We wanted to know every business that they had acquired, that they had success and failures, how they treated their internal team, what their customer service mentality was, how they treated their customers, their clients. And we were very impressed. David Martin and Mark Hargrove are great entrepreneurs. They've scaled businesses a lot bigger than we have. They have won the best place to work in Tampa. They're located an hour and a half away from us in Orlando, and we got to go and explore their office and really meet their team and see how they treat people, how they treat their customers, their internal team. And that was important to us because we had built relationships with these 35 VAs in the Philippines that were running everything from our recruitment to our bookkeeping to our social media, our billing, our customer service, all really awesome people in the Philippines that I'm friends with to this day. So we wanted to make sure that they were taken care of. So a lot of stuff goes through your head when you get presented with an offer. Connor and I have to this point, have never scaled a business past that $12 million a year. We've never gotten it to 20 or 25 or 30. And we know that's a lot different than going from 0 to 1 or 1 to 5 or 5 to 10. So we had a lot of people depending on us, our freelancers, our clients, our partners, our internal team. And we wanted to put everyone in a position to succeed. We didn't want to put a position where we're experimenting and learning on the fly and it ends up hurting people. And we wanted to take care of our internal team. So we took hundreds of thousands of dollars from the sale and put it aside just to go to them. We made sure all their jobs were secure and that they were going to like working with them and have stability going forward. And we made that tough decision to sell FreeUp, which I loved FreeUp back then. I continue to love FreeUp today. I'm now a client of theirs. We negotiated a lifetime discount, and Connor and I firmly believe it's a win-win for everyone. So that's kind of how we went from Hirsch Industries selling books to the Amazon business to FreeUp and growing that and eventually selling it. Well, along the past 4 years of FreeUp, people have been asking us to create a course on virtual assistants. How did we do it? Because we didn't just wake up one day and hire 35 full-time VAs and cross our fingers and hope it worked out. We started with 1 and then 2 and 3 and built it up and departmentalized them and put team leaders and assistant team leaders and had really good interview processes and an onboarding system and a training system for each team and SOPs. And we managed them. We had weekly meetings and one-on-ones and performance reviews and got them to motivated and to buy into the business. And that was a big part of selling it. And they're a big part of FreeUp going forward. So the past 4 years, we've been asked to make a course. We haven't had time for it. Now that we finished the transition period and FreeUp is off our plate and being run by the awesome team at the Hoth who's buying FreeUp to really grow it and make it something even bigger and better than we ever could, we now have time to sit down and teach others. And Outsource School is an education platform where we're going to teach you everything virtual assistants, whether you've never hired a VA before and you don't even know what that is, to maybe you've hired people and you've made mistakes and you've wasted time and you've wasted money, or maybe you've hired people and you've had some success and you just want to learn more and improve your knowledge. Great entrepreneurs are always trying to understand how they can do things better, how they can make small or big improvements to their business. And we think Outsource School is going to bring all that to the table. So our first course is called our IOTA method, stands for interviewing, training, onboarding, managing. You can join our newsletter today to get the full case study on exactly how we grew FreeUp from 0 VAs and $5,000 to $12 million a year, 35 full-time VAs in the Philippines, and eventually sold it. The systems, the processes, how we structured each team, all of that is in the case study. You can join the newsletter right on outsourceschool.com, and we're going to have a special pre-sale and eventually launch this course, the IOTA method. We're really excited about it. I'm really excited for Outsource School. I hope we can give back to the amazing entrepreneur community that's been so good to us. And I really appreciate you hearing the story of Connor and myself. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed that video, click the subscribe button, smash that like button. And if you want our exact systems and processes to scale a business with virtual assistants, come become a member of Outsource School.